Alright everybody, it's been some time since my last video, but this is something I've been wanting to do for a while. About a month or two ago, I made a video reviewing the PRS DGT SE David Grissom SE Paul Reed Smith signature model. And I came to the conclusion that I didn't really like it all that much. There were just some appointments on the guitar that I felt the neck was weird, frets were too big, didn't sound all that great. The craftsmanship was really good, but there were just some things about it. All in all, it really didn't inspire me at all. So this got me to thinking, what could we do with a super cheap guitar? And mind you, that Paul Reed Smith is $1,500 give or take. That's another comment. Everybody else has said, oh, well, you should play the core model. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to pay that much for somebody else's name on a guitar that I don't particularly like. So that brings us to this lovely guitar for your consideration. This is a 2000, and who gives a shit, Epiphone Special SG model Gibson, blah, 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 blah. I found this at Long McQuaid used for $140. Now, my contention is that you could take a relatively cheap guitar, not even a relatively cheap guitar, this is a dirt cheap junk guitar, and bring it to a point where it is as good as or better than something that's going to be 10 times the price. So that's what we're here to do. So picked this thing up, Long McQuaid, $140, and immediately got to work destroying it. So it had the Tonewood bridge, which I removed and plugged the holes, and then re-drilled for this lovely Music City bridge. I guess another thing to preface this video is that I've always wanted a junior style guitar with a wraparound tailpiece and with a P90. So I thought, what better opportunity than to test out whether or not I actually like that idea with this guitar. So again, we've got the Music City wraparound tailpiece. We have a Gibson P94 humbucker sized single coil. I've replaced the all of the circuitry in it, so it's got 250K pots. It originally had a 500K pot. It was a bit too bright. The 250K pots have mellowed it out a little bit. I also originally just had a single volume. I decided, why not? Well, we'll just put a tone in it. It's one more pot, who cares? I custom made the pickguard. What else have I done to this thing? I ended up taking a good deal of the paint and poly finish off of the top just to clean it after doing the drilling and plugging. In order to color the plugs, we just use Sharpie, and I get this nice flat matte finish on it. What else? Oh, the back was the poly clear coat and paint, and it was just so sticky, and I hate that. And as much as I hate having a raw wood neck, the feel of this is 10 times better. We put some Grover tuners on there, put a Tusk nut, gave it a quick fret level and polish. And here we are. So one of the things I can point out immediately is these Epiphone SG style guitars with a bolt-on neck. The neck is actually much further into the body than it is on other SGs. So it's actually meeting the body at the 17th fret. Whereas if you take a standard SG, we're meeting at the 19th fret. And if you take the even earlier, the very first Les Paul SGs, the neck is meeting at, I think, the 21st fret. So it is a little bit, in order to do that, what you need to do is essentially move the bridge further back on the body. So it almost feels a little bit more Strat-like in terms of its proportions. It also makes it a very short guitar because the neck is actually physically moved that much further into the body. So it's not quite as comfortable as an SG, and there's some getting used to it. But one thing that it does have over the PRS is the SG vibe, which is just a classic body shape. And it's light, it's tiny, the neck profile is awesome. It's like a 60s Gibson sort of slimmer taper neck on it, and again with that poly finish removed and just having the nice smooth wood, it does feel quite nice. Again, I did put a new nut in and adjusted it for action and give it a fret level and polish, so this thing plays absolutely awesome. I'll allow you to do the honors.
Right. Oh, it's got some weight to it.
I don't know if that's a good thing. It's not a Les Paul, so that's not a good thing. So there are still some unfinished elements. But for $140 and a couple of parts.
Yeah. So it had two controls here? Or you moved the control?
Yeah, it had a volume and a tone and a three-way switch.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so I just went single volume. I'm not opposed to the idea of putting a tone in at some point, but just for now I wanted it to be as simple as possible.
The truss rod looks good.
It could be a little tighter.
Oh, it's pretty good.
It's pretty like vibrant.
Yeah.
The high E is probably completely dead on this.
Got a nice vibe.
Not bad. What do you think of the neck? The
Yeah, it's nice.
yeah.
The action's a little high for me.
Yeah, the action's high just because it's buzzing out on the frets. So post fret job, we'll see if that improves.
It's not that bad. I don't feel it's not that.
Yeah,
It was sticking out.
it was better before, but after I hammered down the frets, that's when the tang started
Yeah, just
sticking in a little bit.
Over here.
Yeah, there's poking out. Yeah, so again, let's see what happens post fret job. That's the only problem with this too, is that I've had these strings on and off of it probably 6 or 7 times.
It's got a really nice acoustic vibe.
It's not bad, eh? Like acoustically in the air, yeah.
And the neck feels good. If you got the action down a bit, it would be perfect.
The killer, yeah. Not bad for a plywood body, maple neck bolt-on,
Yeah.
made in Korea.
Nice.
Not too bad, eh?
Yeah.
I've had it out to one jam. It stayed in tune the whole night.
Don't say
other than getting used to sort of the body shape of it, it is really fantastic. So I'll just play a little bit on it. I'm going through my Tweed Deluxe clone, Noble's ODR1, Brigadier, and Dispatch Master for some reverb. So. So, in terms of the construction of this guitar, like I said, bolt-on maple neck, plywood body. By all accounts, this guitar should absolutely sound like shit. And what I've ended up with is actually a very satisfyingly playing and sounding guitar. All in all, I think there's maybe, with the parts, about $500 into this thing, which really just goes to show that, like, is it parts that make the guitar? What is it that is the thing that makes a guitar sort of great and playable? Is it the shape? Is it tone? Is it feel? Is it playability? All I know is that with this thing, totally blew my expectations out of the water. And I would definitely say, pound for pound, this could compete with that Paul Reed Smith DGT SE any day of the week. Is it the greatest thing since sliced bread? No, absolutely not. It's got its drawbacks. You know, again, this thing which I cobbled together in my living room, I would definitely put it up against better guitars. And I'm planning on doing that in another video. A friend of mine, Larry, has a Gibson Custom Shop SG Special. That's a very nice, very great playing guitar. So we're gonna put those head to head just to see what a, you know, $140 guitar with some parts on it will do against, you know, I saw one in a music store the other day. It was $4,000, I think. Now, how would it compare to your SG, the white one?
No, nothing compares. That guitar's special. Well, you played it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. What do you think about the fretboard placement on this? Because it's so much further forward and it pushes the bridge back.
yeah,
It's kind of weird.
You know, it feels like almost like a 3/4 guitar.
Yeah, it feels kind of strange. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really. It doesn't bother me. I don't have any problem. It feels more Fendery.
It does. Yeah, absolutely. It puts the cut closer to where the bridge is on like a Strat or a Tele.
The same scale as a Fender?
No, it's the Gibson scale.
Really?
Yeah.
And you're gonna try and get that as high as you can?
Is that the trick with those?
Your P90 is supposed to be really high.
Really high? Okay, all right. Yeah. That I raised closer today, so let me try and put it up as close as it'll get before hitting.
That's pretty good. You can even get it here closer.
Yeah.
But once you bring
The action will come down anyways, so it might
if
be.
the action comes down a bit, then that's pretty perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Tom Bukovac says that as well.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Give me your thoughts and comments, what you think about it. But again, in terms of its tone and playability, what you think. Again, I think for the money, it's fantastic. It sounds fantastic, and again, for what a bolt-on maple neck plywood body guitar with some parts, to me, this is 10 times the guitar that Paul Reed Smith signature model was. And again, it's funny. After they made that video, the Tonewood debate sort of re-erupted. I think Paul Reed Smith was at he's being interviewed and said something about how much better all fancy Tonewoods are, and comparing electric guitars to Stradivariuses, and on and on and on and on and on and on. And if anybody hasn't seen the great series, I wish I could remember his name. I'll try and put a link in the description. There was a guy from Nashville who basically dissected every single part of the guitar to see where the tone was coming from. You know, he made a guitar with no body and neck and just strings and a pickup, and sort of went from there. What's your hot take on the Tonewood debate now?
Oh, well, it's plywood, so it's got more tone. More Tonewoods.
It has pliable tone.
You gotta fucking stack that mahogany on some other piece of shit, on some other piece of shit. All tone. It's fine. Plus it's got a bit of that rubbery thing. So
Yeah.
You can do the cool shit.
All you need is a nice delay pedal. You got some chorus. So what would you say then are the defining characteristics between this and like a custom shop Gibson?
Money.
When you're playing it, that's it? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You have to put a fucking blindfold on somebody to really get that.
Right.
But I mean, you got a bolt-on SG. I mean, you can't expect a miracle out of it.
Exactly.
But it really doesn't matter. I mean, if somebody can't play, the guitar's not going to sound good.
I think you just put the nail in the coffin of that Tonewood debate. One thing also it has going for it, it's unique. You know, it's absolutely unique. You can get these guitars still, Facebook Marketplace, $150. You can get even new juniors from Epiphone for $500 or $600. And for me, just in terms of the sound, the playability, the vibe, what it's got going for it, 10 times the guitar that Paul Reed Smith was. So again, let me know what you think in the comments. But yeah, I would take this guitar any day over a PRS.